Hey, how's it going? Good looking. Good to see you back. Seth Estrada here, and I'm down in the basement, and there's a lot of noise behind me. I want to talk to you about what the latest update is. First off, if you've just tuned in right now, do me a favor, hit that button, and then share this video out to Twitter, to Reddit, wherever it is you're going to share it. Let's take a look at the basement mine right now, and give you kind of an update on where we are. Got a mining appliance there. I've got a 750 watt server PSU right there that's feeding my fans, and I'll give you a look inside the tent. So, open that guy up. Probably going to flip this around to the forward-facing camera. And there we have it. Up top, we got a bumper right there, as well as a bunch of GTX 1060s, some dual Polaris cards down below, and then some Polaris cards there. And then right here, I created a custom power cable that feeds these giant 14-inch fans. All right. Then I've got the 8-inch pipe going outside. Got another 4-inch pipe going outside. Hey, welcome. Whew. Alrighty, I failed to share this on Discord, so I know I'm not going to get as many live viewers as I otherwise might. There we go. It is loud in there. It is so loud in there. Alright guys, thanks for coming in, checking out the live stream. This is a quick update because I've got a bunch of other to get to. Post-produced content. I've got a time lapse of the update that I did right there to the tent and to some of the mining installation. Oh, bro. Yankee says it's getting hot in here. To which I'm supposed to holler back, so take off all your clothes. But what you don't know is that when we were on chat on Discord earlier on today, I was literally just sitting in a bathrobe that was half peeled off because it's like a sauna in there. It's like a dry sauna. Where I am in the United States is, it's more of an arid region. It's not quite like Arizona, but it's not too far off. Actually, it's very, very dry out here. So down in the mine is totally like a dry sauna. So, yeah, I just sat around in a bathrobe because, you know, as one does when you're in a dry sauna. All right, so here's the, I say it's like phase 0.6 something something, right? Because that's pretty much true. I just swapped out fans. Guys, this is, hey Fadad, good to see you. See Crypto Trucker as well. Guys, thank you so much for hitting the like button. Thank you so much for sharing the video. Really appreciate you being supportive and spreading the word. I've still got a piece of corrugate here, just a piece of cord. And you know what? We've even got the sprinklers going. You can see it right here. Wet spot right there. Flooding the lawn, which, by the way, is like super healthy for your lawn. Flood, don't water. Especially when you're in an arid zone like this. When you're in a very arid part of the country. Flood, don't water. Does more for your lawn. But here's one of those 14-inch fans, and see right here, the connector that it uses, I'm going to use the opposite camera so you can see this a little more clearly. So there's the 14-inch fan, right? I mean, this is pretty well waterproofed. Hey, Mr. Chris Moon, good to see you, man. And down here, these are the connectors that it comes with. It's going to be a little harder to hear, I know, so I apologize in advance, guys. But let me zoom in a little bit so you can see it. So those are called bullet connectors. And if you're familiar with automotive connectors, then you're familiar with how these work. They come with their own sort of like weather shielding a little bit. And is that, I didn't see who was just asking. Here, Alien, good to see you, man. So 90 watts on the fan. Hey, Douglas, XBitco. What's going on, guys? Thanks for tuning in. So those bullet connectors, these are actually surprisingly hard to find in terms of going to like a local hardware store and just having things. And guys, you can see like just how incredibly janky this is. There is maybe a single strip of duct tape to kind of hold the top of the fan in place. And then, oh my gosh, get comments up. My camera won't let me zoom out. Holy cow. All right. You guys, you broke it. You broke my camera. Good job. Are you happy? All right, so little piece of duct tape on top to kind of gently hold it in place, but vacuum pressure is doing the rest of the work, really, like I talked about before. And this is a much lighter housing than the other one that I had, the 350 CFM fan that I had in place before. This one, ideally, it says that it can push about 2,000 CFM. I think that's debatable. I don't think it's 2,000 CFM. I think it's probably closer to like 1,250 maybe. Maybe we're getting close to 1,500. I don't know. I don't know. But again, I don't have like a wind meter. Frankie 2 times, hey, I haven't seen you in a minute, man. Thanks for asking. He's asking, is that blowing out? It is. And with this fan right here, depending on how you have that bullet connector set up, all you have to do is reverse polarity, and it blows in either direction, right? So depending on where you want to have the touch grill, like the touch safety grill facing, you can have that. I could put another one side by side right here for the intake, which is what we're ultimately going to do. I've got at least one more earmarked for that kind of use, and it's going to pull air in with a separator so that we don't have a problem with taking hot air and then pulling it back into the system, right? We just want to take ambient air. Even though it's going to get hotter, right, over the next few weeks, we still just want to take ambient air. We don't want to take extra hot air, right? So we have to separate that channel just a little bit. We're going to have another 14-inch fan here, remove the other window pane, and then have that be the intake for the system. As it is, I'll show you what I've got going on right now. I've got a cross channel. Yeah. Hey, Frankie, thanks for tuning in, buddy. So I've got a little cross channel going through the basement, kind of a cross breeze going through the den area. And yeah, so I'll show you guys what that looks like. But right now, this is pulling hot air out. There are a couple of tubes, as you noticed from earlier on in the video, that are moving air from the grow tent out of the basement, and I'll kind of give you another view of that right now. But I mean, not rocket science, right? We talk about this a lot. It's not really rocket science. You can kind of figure out, like, do I have too much air? Just get rid of more hot air. In the meantime, I've got a couple of time lapses to show you what I've built down here in the grow tent. I didn't want to bore you guys with showing you the every single step of the way. We gotta actually put a light switch on that. We just wind up twisting that one in and out. Yep, so Alien, that's a really great question. Is 2,000 CFM enough? I'm not convinced that it is. So I tested it last night. I have about 4 kilowatts TDP to pull through that tent. I'm not moving enough air. I'm not. That whole corner right there. I mean, I told you guys earlier on in the season that I was able to heat the entire house with the farm. That's true. I only had like between 2 and 3 kilowatts active before, and that was heating the house. Barry, he says, no opera singer today? No, not today. Actually, you know what though? My wife might be in the shower in a minute. Maybe we can hear her sing in a minute. But I took the 350 watt, I put it over here on this window, so it's pulling from the cool side. This is the north facing side, and so we do get some sunlight there, but it's not overly hot. We've got some greenery over there, and so there's plenty of sort of evaporative cooling coming in, that like dew, for example, coming off of the little wild brush right there. It's coming in, so it stays pretty cool right now. It's not exactly like a swamp cooler, right, like an evaporative cooler, but it has sort of that effect, and so it's pulled in very, very cool air. But then, whew, projects upon projects, you can see right there, I cut the 8-inch piece of pipe so that I could fit it over to the tent. Let me turn this camera around again for you guys. So I've got the 8-inch elbow right there feeding all the way out to the window, and then I've got a supplemental 4-inch pipe that goes a little farther down, and I just used the flex hose. I already had that lying around, guys. I knew that I was going to need to have some additional components to help feed air, channel air in and out. I'm probably going to have to take 6-inch flex hose to got it right there. Some 6-inch flex hose, and feed air on the intake side directed to some specific cards that are kind of struggling to get enough fresh air on the intake side. So yeah, that's kind of the update right there. But a couple of the things that I added, and I'm really excited, guys. I'm going to show you a time-lapse video of this a little later on, so I don't want to give away too much. But I swapped out some motherboards down there, or added a couple of motherboards down there, bare motherboards to go inside of the rack for the bottom 2 spots on this rack. So now I've got a heck of a lot of hash power for just, you know, for a rack that only stands about 40 inches tall. I don't know that you should have, no baby bones cases right now. I know that I should probably add just some cases to help channel this air, and that's kind of the point that I'm getting at this point. I use the airframe because before, the intent was to help heat the house a little bit with the open air frame. And then I thought, okay, if I want to enclose this air, encapsulate it, and then start evacuating air in a more fashion, I'll just use the grow tent. But now I'm realizing that with 4 kilowatts TDP, I don't know, I'm in uncharted territory. I've never done this before, guys, and I openly admit to not being an HVAC pro or whatever. I'm just trying to make things work. But Alien was saying, hey, do I think that 2000 CFM is enough? No, I don't. I'm starting to think that maybe what I want to do is just put a couple of fans going out on that side, a couple of the 2000 CFM fans going out of the window, and then just evacuating hot air as fast as I can. Yankee's saying I need an inline fan. I get that. I'm hearing that. Maybe I need an inline fan. The struggle that I have there is that, like, a 700 CFM inline fan costs like $200. That's crazy. To me, that's crazy in terms of the amount of air it actually moves, and using airside economy and keeping prices low. That's kind of my concern. Oh, $100 on Amazon. All right, cool. Well, I'm all ears there, man. So, all right. So, hey, an inline fan, if it would help pull some of the heat out, then sure, maybe I'll go that route. 6-inch inline fan for grow tents. So, I saw that VivoSun actually has some that go with this particular product. And my first thought was, I'm going to go with something that just pulls more air. That's kind of, the bottom line is that I want to just pull more air out of the room. So I'm still kind of thinking, if I have the grow tent partially open, and I channel air maybe a little bit differently, getting 4000 CFM pulled from the window, then maybe that's still the right way to go. Like, as it is right now, you're saying, Yankee's saying fans don't work well under pressure. I do get that. In the same way that, like, you wouldn't use a Delta fan, even though it pushes 200 CFM, you wouldn't use a Delta fan for, say, like a liquid cooling radiator, like a water cooling radiator on a high performance computer system or like a gaming system. I totally get that. What? 6-inch inline fan is actually $60, dude. Okay, so we'll have to check that out, guys. We'll have to check to see what the differences are, because here's the thing: 2 of these shipped is less than $60, and we covered this in the last video. 14 inches, pulling 2000 CFM. That's what they say, advertised 2000 CFM. I think what we're seeing in reality is that it's nowhere near actually 2000 CFM. And what I'm having to do is I'm having to sort of shape that airflow in really creative ways, which, I don't love. I don't love doing that. All right, Yankee's saying he's using 12-inch inline turbo fans that move 1500 CFM. That's cool. That's very cool. Yeah, 20 of them, of course. Yeah, 2000 in perfect box scenario. And Terry B, you're totally right. That's where it's like, it's whatever. It's under laboratory test environment that they fully control. They can put it on the box. Oh, 2000 CFM. It's nowhere near that. We know that. And we kind of knew that it wouldn't be 2000 CFM, in our application here. But, yeah, so Alien's asking Yankee how's the efficiency of the turbo inline fans, the ones that do 1500 CFM, 12 inches. I'd be curious to know that as well, because I think that for that, I mean, realistically, I'm probably not going to do, dang, 350 watts each? Oof. But if you can test that and it's definitely, you can verify that it's actually pulling 1500 watt or 1500 CFM, then I guess maybe it's worth the trade-off. So, I mean, if the efficiency, because guys, power efficiency is all a question of effectiveness as well, right? It's like same with mining. You can have a rig that's only pulling 700 watts, but if it's dropping shares like crazy, right? You get 20% drop shares. Who cares? Like a typical ETH. Yeah, RM's IS, you're right. Air coming in and air going out. Take it from there. It's all about moving air. He's totally right, man. Yeah, don't get too close to an inlet. Yeah, no, totally. You're totally right. So, guys, here's the idea. With the materials for the box, which I haven't started on yet, it's a project that, again, phase 0.5 is going to have to be left in place for a little bit longer. XBitco's asking me about Bitcoin. We'll get to that, guys. We will get to that. Because price action has been, I mean, let's be real. We live for this. This is where the excitement is, right? We've been mining for this moment. This is what we've been doing all our work for, right? Hey, Doug, good to see you, man. So, guys, right here, this is all the spare stuff that I have ready to build the actual heat exchange box. And the key component that I think is going to help turn these fans into something worth using is that we're going to funnel from 8 inches up to 10. This is all I could get locally at the store. From there, I'll do custom fabrication to get the corners of this 10-inch funnel to meet the 14-inch fan. And I'm going to get a little bit of space between the 8-inch pipe and then the funnel outward. I don't know, my hypothesis is that we're going to see decent efficiency on that fan in terms of like efficiency of movement, or rather effectiveness. We'll see the effective CFM on that fan stay pretty high if we do that. Yeah, Yankee's saying, do yourself a favor, get an inline fan. Bruh, I might, but probably not for this application. Here's why. And we talked about this on Discord earlier on today, guys. Anybody who was on Discord with our chat, then you know that what we talked about is my wife is already like, hey, this is cool and all, and I know that mining is profitable right now, even with residential rates for power, but I really want you to go to a warehouse. And I talked about this last year, right? Late last year. I even showed off a facility that I walked through that we were very, very close to taking occupancy of. We had verbal agreements in place. We even had an anchor tenant already in the spot with many, many machines. And we talked about it on Discord earlier today in voice chat. AZ, you know, what's funny is that she doesn't care about the noise as much as it's sort of like she's more upset with me complaining about it, right? Where I'm like, oh man, I just had a rig drop off. And so whatever, rig 3 just dropped off from heat. Not a fire hazard. No, everything's wired correctly. Dude, guys, it's not a fire hazard. Press action, that's a good call, XBitco. I probably should just grab the podcasting mic. We should do that. But yeah, the perceived fire hazard, sure. I mean, maybe there's a neighbor that's gonna come over and be nosy and be like, "What are you doing over there?" But I don't foresee that happening either. But no, the real issue here is that she's tired of hearing me complain about like, oh man, rig 3 dropped off, or got a low hash rate over here, and I'm like, gosh darn it. And you know, I'm constantly checking in to my Hive dashboard. And then I'm also using, guys, if you're not familiar with MMPOS, I'm using MMPOS for my 18 card rig because, shout out to Dobrev, because Dobrev was the first person to respond to my request for help. So Dobrev made a custom package, a custom patch to their OS to accommodate 18 and 19 card builds on Linux. In case you didn't know, it's a big freaking deal. It's a really big deal. There are the windowing subsystem of Linux doesn't like to have more than maybe 14 or 16 cards at most, 14 or 16 GPUs at most. And maybe you've seen this on Bitsby Trippin's channel. where anytime that he's done really like those extreme builds with tons of GPUs, it's always been on Windows, right? Right? Hasn't it? But on Linux, it's a real engineering feat. And Dobrev he bent over backwards to do that for me. So huge shout out to him. So I'm split between HiveOS and MMPOS. Do I love MMPOS? It's still really rough around the edges. It's still really young. I like it for what it is. But man, if I had all of my rigs on HiveOS, I would just use HiveOS exclusively. Personally, you guys know, I've made no secret of the fact that I really like HiveOS. And yeah, I did their official training videos in English, and I was compensated for that work, but nobody pays me to promote HiveOS anymore. I just use it in the same way that I used it before I did the training videos, because I really find it better than Simple Mining. Or EthOS I haven't used, so there you go. Doug is saying that he thinks that HiveOS is expensive. Maybe it is. Maybe it is. So Mr. Chris Moo is asking, is there a GPU limit on regular Ubuntu OS? Yes, there is. There is. That's what I'm saying. The subsystem that's responsible for addressing all of that's responsible for addressing the number of GPUs that will then be leveraged to create new screens. That is the same. That's where the big bottleneck is for Simple Mining and HiveOS and EthOS. None of them like using more than maybe 14 or 16 GPUs. And the same was true of MMPOS until I reached out to Dobrev and he did me a solid and he increased the number of GPUs that it could address. It was pretty darn cool. Now that package is portable. Like it could be translated over to EthOS or to Simple Mining or to HiveOS. But for my part, I'm not going to push that to the repo. I'm not going to go out of my way to tell everybody else, like, hey, you have to use what Dobrev made. Like, if that gives them a competitive advantage, then so be it, man. The guy worked hard. Hey, so, Yankee, I'm not going to return these fans. That's the first thing. So I'm not going to return these fans because I don't regret getting them. There are numerous applications for which they will come in handy. And we'll go over repurposing them down the line. But I appreciate the concern, man. Good job looking out. Thank you. But with Alien, he's saying Hive you pay per rig, many others charge per GPU. So no, you're correct. There are several others that do charge per GPU. I don't know how EthOS is. I think it's a per rig licensing fee, but you actually pay for the OS. You pay for a perpetual license instead of, I guess, like renting the cloud dashboard service. I think that's how it works. But then I've read some people say that they've been able to trick the licensing servers and duplicate licenses. And the guy that Alexander Levin, who runs EthOS, has accused some prominent members of the community of cheating him out of like whatever $10,000+ in licensing fees. I don't know, man. Guys, I don't know. I think that some services are worth paying in the same way that like you don't complain about paying for Netflix, you don't complain about paying for whatever Hulu if you pay for those services. You pay for them because they're a valuable web service, right? Like cloud services, we're in that age where some of them we view as essential, and then others it's like, you know, you pick your battles. You don't pay for every new cloud service that comes along. So yeah, Yankee, you know, I get it. You still complain, but here's the thing. You still pay for it, don't you? So guys, if you're gonna get like a web mining OS, you're gonna get a web dashboard for your mining OS, and it works. Sure, you can complain about it, but like, pick your battles, right? Pick your battles. You're gonna pay for Simple Mining too. Sure, you're gonna pay whatever, I guess $2, and I like that it's metered. There is that Simple Mining has going for it. It's metered, so on days where you're not actually mining or you have rig downtime, then they're not charging you, right? The clock isn't ticking, so that's super cool. But I think that several other OSs kind of have to go that way because they don't offer the feature set that HiveOS does. Like HiveOS offers so much control for fleets of mining rigs that I think they've kind of made the case for their licensing fee. I don't know. Yeah, right. Greg says that's his middle name. Yankee, air quotes, complains about freedom. What's your last name? Whatever. We'll make it up. H. Christensen. Fine. That's the rest of his name. There you go. So, guys, let's switch gears here a little bit. Am I going to get an inline fan? Maybe we'll do a before and after, but I'm not getting rid of these fans. And when I get an inline fan, it's not going to be for this facility. That's the big thing. It's not going to be for this area. I don't want to do 15 different reconfigurations of this system. I'm going to do this like halfway build. I'm going to do the heat exchanger box, and then we're going to move on. And when we move on, it's likely going to be to a warehouse, because now I'm getting enough feedback from the wife saying that I kind of have to. So I think that's probably where we're going to go. But this guy right here, guys, even if we're only getting about 1200 CFM, which is what I guess we're probably getting, somewhere between 1000 and 1200 CFM right there. Even if we're only getting about 1000 to 1200 CFM, then I think we can work with that and we can make it do, right? Like, that's my whole point here. Because with an inline fan, you'd still have to get ducting anyway. With an inline fan, you still have to figure out where your placement is of all the stuff anyway. Yankee says I'm only getting 100 to 200 CFM from that. Nope, not true. Alien's saying that he's a massive fans that are overkill for his future proofing. Draws under 300 watts and can cycle the air in the room about 20 seconds. Cooling almost 5 kilowatts currently, and temps fans are low. That's awesome. Yeah. See, so Alien, that's kind of where I'm at. I think that I'm going to be able to circulate the air in that section of the room enough. And I'm thinking right now that kind of the direction that I want to go, I'm going to sit crisscross applesauce. Haven't been able to say Indian style for the last 20 years. It's no longer PC. Sorry, guys. I know, your childhood is a lie. So's mine. Greg's saying he uses 5,000 CFM fans. That's awesome. And you know what's funny is that I don't know when this started happening, but I stopped by Lowe's the other day, and they actually carry the 5,000 CFM fans at Lowe's and at the local home improvement and hardware stores now. I mean, I guess seasonally, right? That's what I'm saying. Is that they're all pallet loaded, right? So they've got a ton of them. I don't know that I'm going to get the best price trying to buy locally from a hardware store. I'd rather not, right? But I can't really deploy that at home. And I think that would be getting into the territory of, like, as it is right now, this is no louder than an outdoor central AC unit is on one of my neighbor's homes, right? So I know I'm not breaking sound ordinance. Yankee, bro, I hear you. I want you to know. I receive that. You've been heard. I hear you. I see you, brother. Thank you for letting me know about the inline fan. I get it. We might go that route for the next application at a different facility. I just don't see it happening here. I don't care to do that much. We're gonna do this test, and then after this test is over, I think my wife is kicking the rigs out of our house anyway. So, yeah, she's not wanting to continue with that. But I wanted to give you guys an update right now. Like, yeah, is this janky? Yeah, I know. Yes, it is. It's totally janky. I guarantee you this is far more than 200. I know, right? Like, it's kind of a bummer because my wife is also, bless her heart, my wife is also the first to say, wait, Bitcoin dipped? We bought more, right? So, I mean, I married an absolute gem, guys. Sorry, I married the best woman in the world. Taken, spoken for. I don't care what your wife says. I don't care if she does. And I don't care if you think she's the best in the world. You're wrong. So, I married an absolute gem. When Bitcoin dips, she's like, we bought more, right? When there's price movement upward, she's as excited as anybody. And she loves seeing the profits from mining. But, we've got a family to run here too. So, the business of raising a family means that the den being right next door, she doesn't love having all the mining equipment right next to the den, right? And we had last night, took the scouts on on a cross-training hike because, dude, I told you that over the weekend, I brought them out to the hot springs. They were all sucking wind. Only my son and one of the other boys was able to keep pace at the front of the pack once we hit terrain, right? We had the big elevation climb on the way back from these hot springs. They were all sucking wind, man. They could barely keep up. Kids are so sedentary these days. They just sit in front of an iPad or the Xbox. They don't friggin' move. Seriously. They're all gonna have, the kids these days are all gonna have heart attacks before they're age 40. Kick your kids outside. Make them go do stuff. So I was blown away. But we had to do a cross-training hike last night. And so we hit this flat trail. And I think we only did like 3-4 miles. Whoa, 10K, are you kidding? All right, so guys, hey, give me a live price alert here. Yankee, is that legit? 10K right now? What exchange is Bitcoin 10K? This is exciting to me. Guys, let's do a quick recap of yesterday. Some of the high points to low points. If you're here live, then you'll get this live. If you didn't see it, then obviously you were living under a rock. But coin market cap, okay, I'm wondering, are they just taking that from Coinbase then? Coinbase, GDAX, whatever? Oh, 10.5K, guys. Sweet. Sweet. Bitcoin's on sale. I mean, you know, not financial, legal, or business advice. You do whatever you think is best. I bought a little bit at 12.5, I'll tell you. And that was after it had already gone up to 13.7 or 13.9 yesterday. So guys, here's a quick recap. Yesterday, yeah, between 13.7, 13.9 yesterday on Binance. And I was just like, what the heck? I super FOMO'd in. I totally did. And I thought, okay, well, I just saw it dip back down, correct back down to 12.5. And I was like, you know what? I'm gonna grab some at 12.5. Try to ride the next little mini pump back up, because you know this is always a sawtooth thing, right? The market's moving as what seems to be a sawtooth pattern, right? So if it's moving up, it's doing this up. If it's moving down, it's doing this down, right? So I thought, okay, well, maybe we'll luck out and we'll see another sort of 13.5 spike today. So I bought in at 12.5 and I sold back out at 13.5 or close to 13.5. And guys, I'm happy with that. I'm okay with that. That's a big win in my book. Could I have bought in lower? Yeah, totally. Could I have sold higher? Of course. We're the people that did that. Yeah, just not me, obviously. So that's what I did. But yesterday, we had this spread between like, I think 11.5 or 11.7 and like 13.7 on Bitcoin yesterday. Super exciting. Am I mining some stuff directly to Bitcoin? Yeah, I'm doing some auto exchange to Bitcoin on a couple of machines. Am I doing that on every machine? Nah. Of course not. Some of the alts are too promising, right? So I'm mining to a couple of alts. And guys, you've heard me say before, I'm not super public about what exactly I mine and what my wallet balances are. That is a very foolish thing to do publicly. Let me just say that for the record. I don't care who else does it, and I'm not calling anybody else like names or anything, but if you're watching and you do crypto commentary and you're in the same space like mining space, stop showing your mining profits. Stop doing it. It's a really bad move. You don't know, like there's some known unknowns right now. And one of those known unknowns, we know for sure that the IRS doesn't actually know how they're going to tax you next year. Not for sure, right? So showing what you've been earning publicly might not be the smartest move. That's my take on it. That's why you don't see me ever reveal my wallets or their contents or exactly where I'm mining. I'll do sort of example videos, but oftentimes when I'm showing an example video of how to mine a new coin to a different or from a different pool, that's not always where I'm going to mine or what rigs or the amount of hash power I'm going to throw at it after the video is over, right? It's just an explainer video. That's all it is. So yeah, what I show on videos is not always what I'm actually doing. It's not the full story, right? I mean, you should already know this about kind of like my videos and stuff. Cool. Hey, Alien, thanks for that. Throwing a picture there. So yeah, Faded, right? Keep it private, right, guys? That's the promise of at least with some of these cryptocurrencies. If they're private by default, especially, you've got privacy built in. Does that mean you're going to go and evade taxes? No. I mean, there are plenty of businesses that are cash businesses, right? Like, crazy example, if you do lawn care, for example, super common job, right? For young guys who are whatever, going through college or pre-college or like that age, right? And I think it's a phase too, right? Like it's almost like a rite of passage for young men. Like at some point you've probably done lawn care, right? Or at some point you've probably replaced the sprinkler head, or you put in a sprinkler system for somebody else as work for hire or whatever, or even as a subcontractor. This is a really common kind of work. That kind of manual labor, super common to get paid in cash, right? Does that mean you're not going to pay taxes? No, that's not. It doesn't automatically follow that because you got paid in cash that you're not going to pay taxes. And anybody that tells you that because you've been earning in cash that you're trying to avoid paying taxes, come on. Sure, it can mean that you might intend not to pay taxes, and maybe that's why you only want to get paid cash. But it doesn't automatically follow that because you're getting paid in cash, you don't want to pay taxes. Plenty of retail shops accept cash, and they keep a ledger at the register, right? They have to make sure the register checks out at the end of the day, and that's going into their books. Plenty of businesses operate on cash. Why would crypto be any different, right? If you're using a cryptocurrency that's private by default, and so functions like digital cash, more like digital cash than Bitcoin does, then it doesn't automatically follow that you're going to try to cheat your taxes or avoid paying them in the first place. That said, I like the idea of being able to acquire at a specific level, and then while the IRS is still trying to figure out how do we view this specific kind of acquisition, saying, okay, I'm going to pay taxes on this schedule, and I'm going to work with a CPA and come up with the best strategy for me. I'm comfortable with that, right? Like that doesn't make me feel weird at all. That said, talk to your CPA. This is not advice. And that's my rant, guys. That's all. The other reason that I don't show off what I earn, right? Like, what if I'm earning in a coin that is totally speculative and never makes it to exchange? It's a loss. It's a total loss, right? If it never makes it to exchange and it folds. There have been a couple of small projects, right, where it's like you'll mine for a day, right, and whatever you mine like hundreds of thousands of coins of a specific new speculative play that never sees the light of day. How do you account for that, right? Like, yeah, like what? Just don't, right? Like, you guys have heard me quote Benjamin Franklin, worth saying, because people who fight against this advice, well, they're doomed to learn the hard way, we'll say. Benjamin Franklin, man who shows off his wallet or his wife too often is in danger of losing them both. I'll let you hear my wife sing. Notice she's not on camera with me? Anyway. Okay, we gotta end this live stream quick before people come out and start calling me a misogynist. So guys, that's the update right now. Is this complete? No. Is it completely janky? Yeah, totally. It's totally janky. Completely. We know it is. So you're gonna add the funnel from over there. You're gonna add a little air gap to make sure that we get the optimal vacuum pressure from this particular fan. And by optimal, I mean that I'm gonna eyeball it, right? It's gonna be like horseshoes and hand grenades, right? That's how we're going here. Do I have a flow rate meter? No. Do I intend to buy one for this project? No. I'm not gonna get like a wind fan or a flow rate meter or whatever else. Like, that's not how this project is gonna end. So guys, thank you for hitting the like button. Thank you for sharing the video. Thanks for watching all the way to this point. I've got some time lapses to show you a little bit about what I've worked on, because I didn't show you exactly what boards I added. I'm really excited about these boards. I like them a lot, but as you know, I like riserless designs, and there are some that are finally, I think we've finally been able to chase down supply chain stateside in such a way that you can get some without, paying an arm and a leg for them. They're a little more pricey than some of the other options out there. So again, do your own research, but I'll have links in the description of the time lapse. And so I'll show you a couple of time lapses, maybe later on today, maybe tomorrow, might kind of sprinkle those time lapse videos, publications over the weekend. Also look forward to seeing some CVP13 videos. Specifically, we're going to be going over step-by-step how to mine MOVEO on the CVP13. 0x Bitcoin, there are plenty of tutorials. I can do one on 0x Bitcoin. Those are two of the public bit streams that are available for CVP13. You're not going to see anything, from me at least, on BCU 1525. I have one, but you're not going to see anything from me until there's a public bit stream for X16R. Again, let's talk kind of more openly about what I'm looking forward to with FPGAs. They haven't really been all that exciting. Not for a while, right? If we're being honest, FPGAs haven't been that exciting. They're a pain in the butt to set up, period, they are. Unless you have a fleet of them, which means you're spending 5 figures, 6 figures, maybe 7 figures to acquire tons of them. What's going on, Scott? Thanks for saying hello in the comments there. So with FPGAs, guys, you're paying a ton of money to acquire a large fleet of them if you're being serious about your FPGA mining. Whereas, you can load up a rack of GPUs like what you saw down in the basement for fewer than 5 figures in some cases, right? Like especially right now, if you've been buying capitulated equipment, right? Buying from other miners who've capitulated, then you've got a rack like that on the cheap. If you bought at the right time, and you know which time I'm talking about, right? If you're not new to the scene, you know exactly what week even I'm talking about when GPUs were on fire sale, right? Extra cheap. Yeah, Terry B is saying he thinks that FPGAs are almost as bad as ASICs. I wouldn't go quite that far. A big rack. Why, thank you, Mr. Chris Moo. I work out. But as far as FPGAs being as bad as ASICs, I disagree. FPGAs, I think there's room for them in the mining scene, like AZ is saying in the comments section. Yeah, they can be reprogrammed. They can be repurposed. It's supposedly there's OpenCL programming for a couple of notable open source projects that will allow you to roll in FPGAs using OpenCL calls to do general purpose compute. I haven't actually seen that in the real world, but it's supposed to be out there. That's exciting to me, right? Being able to use FPGAs for general purpose computing. So they're not quite the same as ASICs, where they're like whatever, a giant paperweight. Like Yankee saying FPGAs are just a precursor to the ASICs being built. Hey, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. FPGAs are like, they are kind of a stepping stone towards ASICs, but like Alien is saying, they're the biggest thing to discourage ASICs because they're more agile than ASICs, right? Bitstream development, with public bitstreams coming out on a regular basis that can be developed faster and then switched faster than an ASIC can be built, this is where I'm saying there's a big deal with ASICs, right? Or FPGAs. The institutional money, right? The big players, the mid to large scale players in the space of mining, if they can spend $5 million on FPGAs that they know will switch faster than ASICs and be useful after a year of mining on them, they're going to go that route, period. And any consulting clients that I've had, again, not naming names, nobody's getting my client list here, but I've had clients that have worked with budgets that size and bigger, and they still reach out on occasion and are like, hey, what should we get? We want to get in on the next big purchase, next big bulk purchase. And they want me to deploy some of this crap for them. Again, like, I'm gonna go back to, it comes down to this because people ask, Seth, what do you do for work? I consult large mining interests. If you have $5 million or more in your budget, contact me. I'm not actually soliciting business, I'm just saying we should talk. So, again, legally, I have to tell you I'm not soliciting business. And legally, I should also tell you that I'm not trying to fundraise. But if you have that kind of a budget or more, we should talk. I have some boilerplate analytics for you to look at. But I think that a lot of those groups, they're looking at FPGAs instead of ASICs. And I think that's a smart move. Just like Alien was saying, an ASIC, 12 months down the line, you know that it's going to stop being profitable. Unless you can then resell it, or you can move it off to a market where you're getting 3 cents per kilowatt power rates or lower, which frankly, guys, in the United States, that's a pipe dream. That hasn't been a reality for a long, long time. People who say they've got 3-cent kilowatt, 3-cent power, they're telling you it's 3 cents before delivery. Locally, dude, residentially, I get 3.7-cent power on paper. Delivered, totally different story. End of the month, my bill says a very different thing. Yeah, Barry Logan is saying that he's glad that he didn't get involved back when, what was happening? Yeah, so I hear you guys. When there's way too much hype, then you know it's not the best time to be involved, right? Hopefully the hype train is gone. So when I'm talking about FPGAs being a good bet for a specific kind of buyer, I'm trying to shoot straight there. That's why products like the CVP13 and doing the test with this model, which by the way, again, a disclaimer before you see the video, it was provided as a review model by Bitware. Same with the software that I'm using, any paid software, that's all review stuff. But that's why I'm not actively mining on it, guys. I'm pretty much just doing review level stuff with it, where it's like, okay, put it through its paces, shelve it. Put it through its paces for a new bit stream, shelve it. I'm actually not actively mining on it, and haven't been since I got it. So there you go, disclaimer's out. So it's no skin off my nose if it's running or not. I didn't spend to have that model there, the CVP13. But as far as like those FPGAs, that was a really a roundabout way of me saying what's got me excited about them are the more exotic bit streams that are coming out, and they're not secret, guys. They're not secret bit streams. It's public common knowledge that X16R has been the bit stream to get to for a while. Everybody wants X16R on BCU 1525. They want it on CVP 13. They want it on any of the variants of BCU 1525 by Toll and the other companies, and Osprey Mining. All the other companies that want it, that have FPGAs with high performance cores. Like, this is not a secret. Everybody wants to get to that point, because once we get X16R, we get Gincoin variants, right? Like X16RT. And then some of the other variants that are really close to X16R. Here's the thing, Alien's like, quiet, you're gonna tell everybody. Here's the thing. When? Soon, TM. The cat's been out of the bag for half a year. We saw the hash rate pump on X16R over half a year ago. We talked about, hey, T-Bone. How's it going, guys? We got the kitchen ninja himself, Sir Thomas Blackier. They have nights in Canada, right? Sir Thomas. So, guys, I think we've got something to look forward to with FPGAs. But again, the question is always when, and then can you implement it fast enough? That's the other variable, right? The bitstream could ship today, could launch today. And if you're like Thomas, if you're stuck at work and you can't even get to it for 6 hours, guess what? Somebody's got a 6-hour advantage on you. That matters. Being quick on the draw matters in mining. And especially matters with FPGAs. Getting the environment set, good grief. Just getting the job environment set up in Vivado Lab. Getting all of the automation set up. If you're trying to mine with FPGAs on Linux, if you don't actually already have a production environment in place, then it's going to take you a while just to put all the dependencies in place so that you can say, all right, click, 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 my new bit stream and miner is running. Because it's never click, click, click. Not with FPGAs. Yankee is saying there's a reason that Ravencoin has 44.2% unknown hash rate on the network. Yeah. And it's not a secret. There's been bitstream development testing. There have probably been some private bitstreams. There's probably private bitstream already launched with some. And here's where I can say, like, yes, are there private bitstreams? Of course there are private bitstreams. In the same way that there are probably like private fleets of like knockoff S9 ASICs out there, and knockoff Z9 minis, and knockoff A9Z masters, and not anything that has a name brand to it. I guarantee you there are cheaper Chinese knockoffs that private mining interests have then bought up like $5, $10, $15 million worth. We don't think about this when we're mining at home, and And that's why I don't like to hyper-focus on just like, oh, what is a 1660 Ti mining today? Because I'm sorry, a single 1660 Ti is not even a drop in the bucket. It's like a grain of sand. It's like a grain of sand across every beachfront in the known universe, right? Like where there's any kind of water to be found anywhere in the known universe and unknown universe, right? Like anywhere that we can imagine that there's a beachfront that has water meeting sand, it's a grain of sand. That's what your 1660 Ti is. So, yeah, like Alien is saying, if you have that kind of money, if you're dropping 10, 15, 20 million dollars on FPGAs, why wouldn't you have a bitstream developer? Why wouldn't you have somebody that does digital signal processing working for you on staff and paying them a salary or paying them a percentage or giving them hybrid compensation? Can you imagine somebody that works for, say, like Alcatel, or somebody that works for Intel, or somebody that works for Xilinx, or former employees who really know their stuff, who've since gotten into cryptography and into the cryptocurrency space? Can you imagine they're used to earning whatever, let's say ballpark somewhere between 150 to 250K a year in their salary, because they know their stuff, they're hard workers, and they get stuff done. They get into this space, and a private mining interest comes up to them and says, we've got $20 million to spend on FPGAs, but we need our own private bitstream. Why in the world would that person say no? It's okay, I'll wait. Why in the world would that person say no? As long as they can guarantee that the money's clean, or clean enough, that when the FBI comes knocking, they can say, look, I didn't know that they were involved with whatever, that their founders were involved with something else in, like, in Singapore or some other place. As long as the check clears and the money is clean enough, why would they say no to that? Of course they would work for them. Yeah, Greg, because Yankee will complain. I mean, you make a compelling argument, sir. You do. I have to rethink my strategies. Okay. Yeah, Miner Huck, because everyone in this space is ethical and super straight shooters. Also true! Such good points. Guys, I should just pack it up. Anyway, so, yeah. Tommy is saying 20 mil is not enough for an FPGA engineer. There's way more reputable things the engineer can get paid for. Trust me, mining is always dirty. Yeah, right, Alien. Close channel, go home. Yeah, right, like, swallow shotgun right now. Oh man, everyone harping on about the inline fan. No, not for this application. I'm not doing an inline fan. We're doing this. We're doing this for this application. Because frankly, temps are good enough. It's just the indoor. Oh my gosh! Wow. Okay, we're getting a little bit too hyper focused on the gray hats and the black hats of the space, guys. Here's the other thing. Yeah, it's cryptocurrency. We know there's dirty money involved. We do, in the same way that, like, we know that when there's cash-only businesses, there can be dirty money involved. What is it? Something like, I think they've tested something like, you need 2 inline fans. You know what? Yeah, I think maybe I'll get like 15 inline fans. I'm just gonna hook them up in line, and I'm gonna like in series, right? Just inline fans instead of like flex ducting. There we go. And then I'm gonna put them instead of like, I'm gonna do my own little cold tent. And so now I'm gonna put my desk inside of a growing tent, and the inline fans are gonna go into that desk. So we're gonna get a refresh every 20 seconds on the air where my desk is. How about that, guys? You didn't see that coming. Boom! Ha! Inline fans. I'll show you inline fans. So, guys, yeah, this is phase 0.6, we're going to call it. It could be 0.75, whatever. I just put that fan on there. I might literally just put 2 fans out here, pop the window out, and literally get rid of all the ducting, pull everything out of the tent, and say, you know what? Shine it. we're going to put kind of a rough, or we'll just replace it right there. Oh my gosh. So guys, price of Bitcoin, that was exciting yesterday. That's part of why I have no shame in mining with some of these rigs and auto switching to Bitcoin. I don't think that's a bad strategy. I really don't. For some mining rigs, no problem at all. You know, I love this. This is like the perfect trigger. I get so many comments, especially from Yankee. I get so many comments by just showing this duct tape mess over here. So I think for every talking head live stream, I'm just gonna sit outside next to this nasty old fan and the duct tape and this piece of cardboard. Because my temps are fine, by the way. My temps are great. On the mining rig, they're good enough. Uh-oh. You know what else? That fan, here we go, I'm gonna flip this around. You know what else has been coming out of the woodwork to visit the mining area? These guys, little punk. Yeah. Oh, wait. I was going to say he's playing dead, but you know what? He just zoomed in too close and I missed him. So these guys are trying to make their way into the mine too. Making themselves a home down in the mine. All right, guys, we've been going on about an hour here. I should probably close the live stream. Appreciate you guys making comments. So, yeah, crypto spiders. Hey, that could be a thing. It could be like crypto kitties, only, you know, hardcore. Right? We'll make a token. Alien is not visiting my farm without a flamethrower. You know, we've got 5 kilowatts of TDP. I think it's pretty much the same thing, right? Depending on how big your flamethrower is and how focused it is. But guys, yeah, Bitcoin yesterday was exciting, but we're back down into like, what is it? Hey, Osiris Twits, appreciate that, guys. Yes, please do hit that like button. It's much appreciated, guys. And do me a solid, go ahead and click on links that you see down in the description. It's a big deal. It's a really big deal. And Yankee, how about this? I will put a link. I'll put a ref link to that inline fan down in the comment section for later on. So if you guys want to try this versus it, then you're free to try that. XBitco's saying that he thinks Bitcoin may see 8K. I would love that. And that's why, guys, I've got dry powder still, right? Like, when I bought it at 12.5 and then I sold again, I didn't go all in on 12.5, right? Like, I'm becoming a more savvy trader a little bit. Everyone is a fan of yours. Yeah. So Miner Huck is saying that most mining calculators are broken. Do we have a mining calculator worth anything these days? It's such a moving target, guys, right? I mean, it's a moving target. So I think at the end of the day, it still kind of comes down to projects that you think have legs, have a future, and projects that you don't believe in. I've actually got a solo GPU over on the gaming rig still doing Raven because I like Raven and I believe in the project and I think that long term it's got a future. And then I've got some of my flight sheets, even though it only earns like a cent a day. Oh, is Red Panda going live? Okay, guys, let me cut this in just a minute here. I don't want you to miss Red Panda. Oh, come on. I appreciate that, but we don't have it's not Twitch, right? What is it, bum rush him? That's what they call it, right? This is his official Twitch name, bum rush. Yeah. Hey, Yankee, do me a solid and link to Red Panda's live stream if you can in the comments. Guys, thanks for smashing the like. Thanks for being subscribed, hitting the bell icon. Thanks for sharing the video. Thank you for going to check out Red Panda Mining. And Yankee, thank you for linking to his live video right now in the comments. You're the reason I make this media. I love your face. See you in the next one. Go to Red Panda.